This mountain is 256 blocks tall. That is huge. Now, I did explore this seed in a video about a week and a half ago, and I thought, what would this look like in all the other experimental snapshots? How much would change? Well, let's take a look at 6 different areas. We're just going to focus on 6 areas where there are some expected changes. And yeah, there are some big changes. So let's take a look. So let's start out with this location. Now these are just screenshots, so it'll be a lot easier for me to show you some of the differences. This is in snapshot number 1, that's experimental snapshot number 1. So this is the village that we have. As you can see, this is a plains with a whole bunch of red poppies, I guess. That's interesting. The mountain is back there. We've got the village. We've got snow. Okay. Interesting, looking good. Snapshot number 2. There's a bit of a difference here. We have a farm. Let me look back there. So, main differences is, well, there's a bit of water, but we'll get to that later. The village is a little bit different. And it looks like some of the flowers are a bit different. Not huge difference, though. Snapshot number 3, though. There we go. We've got all of this desert and badlands. A few new buildings here too. Now, we're going to see in a little bit of a difference over here. But you'll also notice back there, the desert goes up into the mountain as well. That's a little bit odd, but okay. Snapshot number 4. The desert's gone. Replaced by savanna. It looks like we got some differences back there too. So this is all pretty interesting. I would say this is unusual, but I probably like this the most. Although I do like this too, but I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, really. But let's look at the next view, which is from right over here. This is snapshot number 1. So as you can see the mountain a bit better in the background. You got snow here. Okay, now this is what I wanted to focus on, the snow. Because in snapshot 3, it was kind of right up next to the desert and badlands. But let's take a look at snapshot 2. The mountain is a little different. Not too huge of a difference. Not much of a difference here either. So let's go to snapshot 3. And there we go. Snow next to badlands and desert. That does not look right. It kind of looks messy here. Very, very messy. But snapshot 4 is supposed to have fixed all this. And, well, it did. There's no more snow here either. The mountain is a little bit different than in snapshot 2. So back to number 4 here. If you're new to my channel, I do a lot of tutorials as well as a 1.17 tutorial Let's Play called Minecraft School. If that sounds interesting to you, then please check out the rest of my channel. And if you love these new mountains, then please give the video a like. Next up, let's look at the mountain itself. This is snapshot number 1. Now, as you can see, it's fairly even going all the way across. This is lofty peaks. It's all snow covered. And this is going to change a lot. Now, before I go on, I'd like to mention that towards the end of this video, I'm going to be looking at the heights of the mountains in all 4 snapshots, just to see how it's changed. So, here we go. This is going to be a massive change from snapshot 1 to snapshot 2. As you can see, the height of the mountain changed a lot. It's still lofty peaks. We've got this waterfall, although this does look like a bit of an odd waterfall. There's another one over here. The thing is, when snapshot 2 came out, they increased the height of mountains, so they could go up to maximum 260 blocks tall, which is pretty tall. Now, snapshot 3, of course, this changes, and so does this. Now watch this. Now we have snowy peaks up here, and right over here you can see this is the Stony Peak. We also have this. An outpost is right there. The waterfall's all gone here. And there's the desert up here as well. On number 4, you're going to see a bit of a difference with the Mountainite. It's shorter. Unfortunately, a fair amount shorter. There's a new waterfall down here. That's more like a stream coming down here. But the outpost remains. I like Snapshot 3's mountain better. Just get rid of the sand there. And, we got a lot more flowers over here as well. That is an interesting difference. Now, we're just going to go back a little bit, and we're going to look at the shore. Now, there have been some changes with the stone shores. Now, as you can see, this has some sand there. And it's splotchy in places with different kinds of stone. And you'll also notice that this will change a bit as well. So this is Snapshot 1. Snapshot 2. Massive difference here. More stone. Just sand over here. So we got blocks, or blobs, I should say, of diorite and granite and andesite. And this got narrower. See, this is number 1. This is number 2. Now, number 3, not much of a difference here, but this cave, this aquifer, has returned to the state that it was in number 1. There we go, back to number 3. Now, there's going to be a big change for number 4. There we go. Maybe you don't see a huge change, but now the stone types are in strips. We've got a strip of andesite. We've got a strip of diorite here. Although I don't see any granite. Maybe that's it right there. And this hasn't changed. So now let's take a look at the mountain itself from up high. As you can see, we've got this ring of lofty peaks and this depression in the middle. This makes it look like a volcano. And I like that. I like that we have something that looks like a volcano. So again, this is just lofty peaks. It's actually quite plain looking all the way around. And just a little bit of a stream of water here. Now, number 2, this is where we get the increased height over here. That makes a huge difference. This end doesn't change much. We've got this massive cave in here. In Snapshot 3, I took a look inside and it was full of mobs. But again, it's lofty peaks, and you'll notice up here it's all dirt. I don't think that's supposed to be like that. They did make some adjustments later on. Now, number 3, this is the one that I explored up here, where it'll be 256 blocks. I'm pretty sure this is 256, but we'll see later. And there we go. It has changed so much. Look at that. Now, this is Stony Peak. And this is now Snowy Peak, because we've got all this ice and everything, and it looks so interesting. This looks more consistent, but not as varied. This is definitely much more varied. Now, number 4. You'll notice this is going to go down. Not a huge difference, but it is much less volume. But if you look at the Stony Peaks, you'll notice little bits of calcite. Actually, this is a lot of calcite here. That's one of the things I really like now. You can get a lot of calcite in the mountains. So again, this is number 3. This is number 4. And now, the last group of screenshots, this is something that I didn't actually look at in the video where I was looking at this here. So here we go. We have a bit of a river here. Now this is directly behind us is the mountain. So we've got this bit of a hill here. We've got snow here. We've got looks like entrance of a cave. And over there, there's another pond. I don't know if this is a continuation of a river here, but I don't think so. Doesn't look like it. Now, we're going to go from snapshot 1 to snapshot 2. So a lot more snow, and we have a village here now. This hasn't changed much here. This little area has changed. So the mountains have changed. Now, snapshot 3 is where everything gets a little crazy. There we go. This is crazy because look at this. What is a desert temple doing on the side of the river that doesn't have a desert? There's a desert here with snow. And of course, we've got the desert over here in the Badlands. So this is really messed up. This just does not look good, does it? Snapshot 4 fixes all of this. And this is no longer a river. This is more like some kind of aquifer. And yeah, this has all been cut off. So a lot of this has been replaced by savanna, but we still have the snow right next to the savanna. And if you look back here, this is snapshot 3, snapshot 4. We have an interesting looking cave over here. That would be probably very interesting to look at. So let's take a look at the peaks. Now this is in snapshot 1, and back there is where the highest point is in snapshot 3. So things have changed here, but this is a big, really, it's a caldera, isn't it? So we are at the highest point, and it is at Y188. It's respectable height, but it's not the tallest. It's actually the shortest. And now in experimental snapshot 2, we are at 256. So it's pretty much the same as experimental snapshot 3, which is right here. Except we got trees up here. That's kind of weird. But just to show you, it is at Y256. And finally, we're at the peak. Well, actually, there's multiple peaks along here. And we've got trees. Now this is snapshot 4. And we are at 240. Yeah, the mountain's shorter now. I would really like to go back to 256. The 4 snapshots have a lot of differences. Some are pretty subtle, some not so much. I mean, really huge differences at times. So, what I'd like you to do is let me know in the comments below which snapshot you prefer so far and why. I'd like to give a big thanks to my patrons for their support. If you become a patron, you can get access to world downloads, special Discord ranks, and access to my Java supporter server. While you're at it, check out the recommended video on the top and the 1.18 snapshot playlist at the bottom. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.